Hello, good people of the interwebs. Today, yesterday. Yesterday, we've lost a living legend that was personally an inspiration to everyone's life. She was a living legend, graced by God's glory, and to anyone not aware of who she is, then perhaps you need to read a little more than what you've been reading. Today is the 29th. Yesterday was the 28th. Maya Angelou died at age 86. She has gone home gracefully to be with the Lord. Thankfully, there have been so many people out there touched by words, whether they were great or big. Whether they were great and big, to the small and fortunate. She was like the Stan Lee of the literary world. This article that I found comes from publishersweekly.com. So, I'm going to read it, and of course I'm going to share my 2 cents about it as it's meant to be. Maya Angelou dies, age 86. Author and activist Maya Angelou died at her home in North Carolina. She was 86. Best known for her first book, the 1969 autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Random House. Angelou was rewarded the Medal of Freedom in 2011 by President Obama. At the National Book Awards last November, Angelou was honored with the Literatarian Award for Outstanding Service to the American literary community by the National Book Foundation. Angelou's longtime friend, Toni Morrison, who presented the award, said it was a personal pleasure to honor a friend, an artist, and a legend. In spite of her truly outrageous talent, she doesn't summon envy. Instead, Maya Angelou inspires delight as well as awe. In a statement from Random House, Robert Loomis, Angelou's editor of more than 40 years, said, Maya, a dear friend, helped change our hearts and minds about the African American experience in the U.S., bringing it to vivid life. And her spirit and energy crossed all borders and deeply affected readers around the world. Gina Centrello, president and publisher of Random House, added, Today, a light has gone out at Random House. Dr. Angelou was an inspiration to all, and we are proud and honored to have known her, and to be part of the devoted team that publishes her work. Maya will be deeply missed. We've collected Publishers Weekly reviews of many of Angelou's books below. Mom and Me and Mom, Even the Stars Look Lonesome, My Painted House, My Friendly Chicken and Me, Letter to My Daughter, Wouldn't Take Nothin' from My Journey Now, Angelina of Italy, Hallelujah, The Welcome Table, A Lifetime of Memories with Recipes, A Song Flowing Up to Heaven. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. As a writer and an author, an all around artist, I've been known to imagine worlds that are not known to normal men. I could dream up so many things, so many ideas, whether they were mythical to something close to a police drama or to anything that resembled, oh, say anything between a tokusatsu and an anime series. I've started writing stories since I was the age of, I believe, 8 or 9. I do remember when I was around that age, I played a lot of video games. I mean, I still do, but back in the day, I went beyond playing the video game. I went as far as writing up a story within the story of the video game. Like, I've written up a story about Sonic 2 and and um and even Lunar the Silver Star. I even had my cousin, one of my other cousins, type it out for me. Too bad I do not have it on me still. It would have been something to show off. But sadly, over time, they ended up in the back house and they pretty much melted over time. Crumbled up and just like turned into nothing. And like I said, I also did a story within story when I actually had a Sega CD. And one of the things I played to death was Lunar the Silver Star. And what I did was I actually wrote a mock playwright of Lunar the Silver Star, and I was trying to go from scene to scene about what exactly happened within the story. What they didn't tell you within the story. What does this have to do with this article? I'm going to tell you why. Because I had a lot of imagination. I'm young. I was young. I had imagination up the wazoo. I had ideas right to left and left to right. Everything was like in my brain. It was like a bowl of popcorn. The ideas like they were like kernels, and me and brainstorming. We were like partners in crime. Literature really played a big part of my life. English played a definite part growing up while I was in school. I remember reading a bit of Angelou's work, and I believe, if not junior high, it was in high school. High school, it was as many people as you know, high school was definitely a thing. Okay, high school was definitely a thing, especially in English class. English class, we actually read books. We actually, spent time sitting down and reading poetry and whatnot. That's how well that's how well I can do with poetry. And like I said, I read a bit of my Angelou's work. And we did read excerpts of "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." We didn't go really knee deep into it, but we did read up on that. At 19, right after I graduated from high school, I started to write poetry on my web TV. When I actually had web TV, I used that to basically write up pages, and I didn't really use paper. I just used up the first thing that popped in my mind. I just used one word and went with it. That's the talent I have when writing. I use one word and just go with it. Make make something work for me and make like a poem. If I still actually have my first poems, actually I do have some of my poems that I did save. I did share some of them in a previous video about 3 years ago. And if I haven't, well, it is something I'm going to be working on right after or in the middle of doing, like I said, the Seven Stars. Because I'm thinking of doing a book of poetry. I mean, I'll be honest, this is like the second take of this video. The first take, there was no sound coming out of it. This is the second take, and I can be more focused with it, because the first time I was just like that, you know. I was running on fumes. But I can personally say that as a writer and an author, I do read some of the classics. I not only read, manga, but I also read some, I also read a lot of sci-fi, and very often do I find a good book of poetry. I actually do have a good, I actually do have a bit of book of poetry. One is if I can actually find it, and if I can actually, if I do find it, I will share it. But it is a book of love poetry. One is a book of love poetry, and I think another one that I think I bought when there was a bookstore in my area. It had a bit of Maya Angelou's work in it. Last night when I was flipping through the channels, I was listening to a bit of Maya Angelou's "I Am Somebody." I feel like doing a variation of it, but yeah, I feel like doing a variation of it. And since it is on my mind, I'm going to do this. We are actually going to do this right here, right now. Am I remember this is one thing I remember. Yeah, that's it. I remember that was the last thing I heard last night before anything else. I'm actually going to read this in the best way I can. My apologies if I sound like I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna read this. If I can actually pull it up. Thank you. Go away. No, no, go away. I'm not interested. Of all the silly things, No, no, this is better. One moment. Okay, now this is the last thing I remember hearing from Maya Angelou. And yeah, it may sound like it's black, but I feel it's to anyone, it's to anyone that has been in the dumps, who has been on hard times, everything. So I'm going to read this. I am somebody. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be young, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be small, but I am somebody. I may make a mistake, but I am somebody. My clothes are different. My face is different. My hair is different. But I am somebody. I am black, brown, white. I speak a different language, but I must be respected, protected, never rejected. I am God's child. I am somebody. That was the last. That was the last poem I actually heard before listening to the news go off the air. But it is something that we should all remember. And like I said, I wanted to basically make a rendition of this poem, but the idea is coming and going to me. I mean, it's coming and leaving me as the same time as I'm trying to think. So possibly this weekend, when I do have it, when my head is all clear, I will share what I've written down. But Maya Angelou, she left a mark that can never be erased. And it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, Canadian, or whatever else you might be. Just remember that line. You are somebody. To all my friends out there who are struggling, who have been feeling, the hard knocks of life, just remember, you are somebody. And just like old movies and old series, if you remember the old movie Spartacus, it's one person who kept, one person said, I'm Spartacus. And when one person said they're Spartacus, the rest of them said, I'm Spartacus. It's like saying, I'm Kenshiro. Everybody is a Kenshiro in some way. So everybody is somebody, so you can't be saying that you feel sorry for yourself. You can't say that something's wrong with you. You can't say that, you're having a hard time. You're somebody. You might be different. Your life may treat you different. Your life may be different, but you are somebody. You are never nobody. You're somebody. So I had to share that with my friends out there. You know who you are. And I hope this comes out through. So as I said, my Angelou, you left a mark on society that no one will ever forget. And for that, personally, all the rest of the artists in the known free world would say, I'm going to say it. Thank you. You play a deep, enriched part of my life. And with that, I know, as long as I live, I'll never forget you. So with that, my friends, my viewers, selves past and present and even future, I want to thank you for listening to my short yet very detailed article of a true legend passed on but never away, my Angelou. So with that, my friends, I wish you all a great and wonderful and safe weekend. And I will see you next time for whatever I feel like posting. So with that, I have been the Tenkaichi. Ichigo Musco. And I will see you next time. Until then, God bless. Take care. And be good to each other. Tenkai Muso.